hasn't been long since the Warriors were obviously really, really, really good and winning championships left and right. Now they're trying to return to their former glory. Klay Thompson, obviously, still dealing with injuries, hoping to bounce back and have him on the floor again. But this team, after re-upping Steph Curry to his second career $200 million deal, which is just unthinkable, Otto Porter Jr. comes in at the minimum. What are the people on the DK Sportsbook viewing this team at right now?
So this is the team gaining a lot of traction. I think it's the Bucks and the Suns, for obvious reasons, are popular bets to make it and win the finals next year, just because they did it already. But the next team after that is Golden State, and I think there's just a lot of buzz around Klay Thompson returning. He's just a player that bettors or basketball fans in general just love to watch and love to root for. And the Warriors weren't good last year, but Steph Curry wasn't particularly healthy throughout the season. And there's this idea that Klay coming back will just kind of fix all their issues. I think that there's some merit to that. Like, this should be a really good team, but you have the Lakers there. You have the Clippers, who once they get Kawhi back will be just as much of a threat in the playoffs as they were last year. Their team is basically exactly the same. So maybe they won't be as good in the regular season, but if assuming they make the playoffs, like, to me, that's the same chance of making the finals as last year. So the idea that the Warriors are now better than the Clippers, that seems a little much, but it's clearly what bettors think. Like, even at this lower line where the Warriors are down to plus 800, you have the Clippers at 2,200, the Suns at 1,600. So the Warriors are half the odds of the reigning Western Conference champions. There's still a lot of popularity for the Warriors bets. So bettors definitely are happy to see Klay Thompson coming back. And even though Golden State didn't do too much, maybe there's an expectation that James Wiseman will take a step forward this year, but there's definitely some optimism for this team.
Nick, we got to move on, but I don't want to insult you. So how about a quick take on the outlook for the Warriors?
I like it. I think I like them a lot better than the Clippers. Obviously, Klay Thompson needs to stay healthy. I don't think there's been quite enough talk about the fact that he's missed 2 straight years with like the 2 most serious injuries possible. So it's not a guarantee that he comes back and looks like himself and plays 75 games. With Kawhi, if there's one player who you don't necessarily trust to come back at any point this year or come back and just be himself, I think it's Kawhi Leonard. I mean, he's missed a ton of time over the last few years. I like the Warriors compared to the Clippers straight up. And I think the Otto Porter addition at the minimum is huge for Golden State, because that takes a ton of pressure off of the 2 first-round guys, Kuminga and Moody. If they're not quite ready, now you have someone else to fall back on.